Unlock the cash value in your jewelry box. Sell your gold on Dale Road. We buy gold jewelry, bent or broken, at Eufaula Flea Market, 354 Dale Road.
Sell your gold on Dale Road. Sell your gold on Dale Road. Mr. Pond buys gold on Dale Road. Mr. Pond buys gold on Dale Road. Sell your gold on Dale Road. Sell your gold on Dale Road.
Hi, good morning. Lieutenant Galloway with the Eufaula Fire and Rescue with the weekly reports of October 29th through November the 2nd. We've had a total of 35 incidents this weekend. This was 27 emergency medical calls throughout the city. We've also had the Eufaula Rescue Squad made 3 inter-hospital transfers this weekend. Vehicle accidents with injuries were a total of 1. This first one was on the 29th at 11:29 hours on 120 West Broad Street. They were dispatched out to a motor vehicle crash with injuries. When they arrived on scene, Rescue 1 made patient contact, and all other units returned to service with no further problems. Another vehicle accident with no injuries. This was on the 30th at 9:23 in the morning at 122 Pine Hill Drive. Rescue 7 and Engine 5 was dispatched out to a motor vehicle crash. Vehicle versus power pole with lines down and on fire. When they arrived on scene, they found that there were no patients, no one needed to be treated, and also there was no fire. They stood by until Alabama Power arrived, and the scene was then turned over to Alabama Power. We've had 1 alarm sounded with no fire. It was an unintentional activation. This was on the 30th at 3:07 p.m. a.m. At 113 St. Francis Road. They dispatched out there to the Admiral Middle School. When they arrived on scene from the outside, they could find no smoke or fire. The key holders then arrived. They did a walkthrough on the building, and that's when they were told by the key holder of the structure there that they had been having problem with their alarm system, which was run and owned by Harris Security, and they would be making contact with them in order to straighten this out. We've had 1 burn permit approved on the 30th. And we've had 1 smoke detector installation. This was on the 30th at 10:10 in the morning. There at 143 Colmont Drive. A person came by the Central Fire Station, wanted to see about having a free smoke detector installed. When our personnel went out to the location and inspected the current ones that the individual had in their home, they found that the batteries were dead. They did a quick change out of the batteries for the resident, and explained to them that they need to change them that twice a year when the time changes. So evidently by us making suggestions of changing those, it got them to wanting a new fire detector or smoke detector in their structure, and got them to that point to where they're back up and running now. So, but we do encourage anyone who would like to have a free smoke detector. We give 1 away per household, and if they can't need to, come by Central Fire Station or either call at 334-687-1218, and our personnel will be glad to assist you with that, and also with any other information you may need about your smoke detectors or alarm systems. Other than that, that's it for the fire department today.
On the smoke detector issue, we've talked about these before. How large an area do they actually cover in a house?
It's pretty good square footage. Each one has a certain manufacturer's recommendation for the square footage. We recommend normally for just an average installation 1 near the kitchen door, just outside of the kitchen, and 1 outside of each bedroom door. This way it can alert you before the smoke comes into the room where you're actually at. That's always a good idea. I always tell everybody you can't go a little too much when it comes to safety for that. So like I say, you can consult the manufacturers of each individual type or brand of smoke detector, and also the carbon monoxide detectors also. A lot of departments, they have the combination detectors. Some departments I have heard of have started recommending 2 separate detectors. That way you can get the appropriate placement for the smoke detector and appropriate placement for the carbon monoxide for the 2 separate situations. But it is very useful to have those in your structure.
One of the other questions from other part of the report, you talked about power lines being down. Give us some safety precautions for people that see power lines down?
Stay
how close?
away.
How close?
Our normal recommendations when we teach school for our firefighters when they first approach the scene, stay 2 power poles away. For example, if you have a break between 2 power poles, the one where you see the line draping at, count 2 power poles back and stay back that far. It's amazing how far the electricity can charge. It looks like it's no big problem. They are, in some places, safety procedures that are put in place by the power company that when a line breaks, it actually feeds back and shuts off that line. This is not always the case. We tell everyone to treat it as if it's hot and it's ready to bite you, so stay away from it. But yes, usually try and stay a minimum of 2 power poles back away from it. When rainy weather like this, yeah, I would get way back. It's very dangerous to be around those, and like I say, we even tell our personnel, we don't deal with power lines. That's what the power company is there for. So we try and secure the area, keep people away, and wait on the arrival of the power company to shut their lines down and do the appropriate safety actions they need to put that back in place and secure it for everyone.
And people got to remember, these are high amperage wires. They may be 110 in some cases, but they're a higher amperage.
What comes into your house is 110. Yeah. It has been broken down. The average lines out there are much higher voltage and a much higher amperage than what comes into your house out of the plug. So if you go out to your meter, the wires leaving from there going out to the power pole are much hotter than what your average plug inside your home is. So yes, it's something to stay away from, and when they start arcing and they start talking to one another, as we say it, you definitely want to stay away from them. All right.
Billy Lawrence Chevrolet is your home for great deals and real savings on both new and pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs. Right now, choose their great selection of GM certified vehicles that come with a 5-year, 100,000-mile warranty. And their service department has trained technicians that can service and repair your vehicle. Hurry into Billy Lawrence Chevrolet on Highway 431 South.
Good morning, I'm Sergeant Brown with the Eufaula Police Department, and this is our police report for October 29th through November the 2nd. During that time, we investigated a total of 6 accidents and had a total of 11 arrests. Of the misdemeanor arrest, we had 1 for theft of property, 4 for failure to appear, 3 for public intoxication, 1 for possession of marijuana second, we had 1 for obstruction of government operation, and 1 for driving under the influence. Incident offense reports included an unlawful breaking and enter of a vehicle and a theft of property 3rd degree that occurred on West Washington Street. We had a domestic violence second and a burglary 3rd, also a violation of a domestic violence protection order that occurred in Barber Creek Apartments. We had a burglary 3rd degree and a theft of property 2nd degree that occurred on Meadow Circle. We had a burglary 1st degree and a theft of property 2nd that occurred on Cotton Avenue. We had a domestic incident that occurred on South Eufaula Avenue. We had a report of found property that was on the corner of Fort Browder and Ben Henry Lane. We had duty to give information and render aid that happened on West Barber at Eufaula Avenue. We had a public intoxication and an obstructing government operation that occurred on South Randolph Street. We had an information report on damage to property that was the Pecan and Lapine Street intersection. We had an assault 3rd degree that involved a juvenile. This was on Lake Drive. We had a criminal mischief 3rd degree that occurred on Scenic Drive. We had a domestic violence 3rd degree that occurred on Dale Road. We had a possession of marijuana second that occurred at Eufaula Avenue and at Broad Street. We had a property damage report that was done on Pine Hill Drive. We had a theft of property 3rd degree that occurred on South Eufaula Avenue. We had another public intoxication that occurred at Barber Creek Apartments. We had an unlawful break-in and enter of a vehicle and a theft of property 2nd that occurred, let's see, this was on Dale Road. Endangering the welfare of a child that occurred on Cotton Hill Road. Criminal trespass 3rd degree that occurred on South Eufaula Avenue. Another criminal trespass 3rd on South Eufaula Avenue. Our arrest reports include the arrest of Felicia LaShawn Smith. This is for failure to appear ×3. Felicia is from Eufaula. We have the arrest of Johnny Lee Jackson. This is for public intoxication. Johnny Lee Jackson is also from Eufaula. We have the arrest of Reva Williams Benefield. This is for theft of property 3rd degree. Reva is from Eufaula. We have the arrest of Brandon Lamar Thomas. This is for possession of marijuana 2nd. Also, Brandon is from Abbeville, Alabama. This is the arrest of John Edward Thomas. This is for failure to appear. He is from Union Springs, Alabama. This we have the arrest of Montreon Page for public intoxication and obstructing government operation. He is also from Eufaula. We have the arrest of Randy Earl Smith. This is for public intoxication. Randy is from Eufaula. And we have the arrest of Van Edward Bradford for driving under the influence of alcohol. He is also from Eufaula, Alabama. And that is a report for this time period.
With the fact that the next few days is anticipated to have rain involved, what would you advise the people driving in town to do during that period of time?
First of all, not to speed. We ask them to drive slowly, observe all the speed signs, speed limits, and always be aware of the other person. Don't always assume that you're going to be the one that's doing it right and somebody else is not doing it what they should be doing, but always be aware of the other person. Be very mindful, be very cautious and mindful of your surroundings by all means. Again, we can't say enough, slow down. We know how things can happen even in dry weather, and the conditions just get that much worse when it gets wet.
Last week you had an event, and I think that was probably pretty successful. How would you rate it?
I would rate it as very successful. We've been getting very good feedback from it. Everybody I run into or run into me say they enjoyed the forum that we had and looking forward to the next one. It was very informative and we were glad to put it on.
I think the department needs to be commended for it.
Thank you very much.
Eufaula Glass and Construction Company, LLC, has been locally owned and operated for more than 30 years. Installed shower doors, mirrors, new windows, replacement windows, screens, storm windows, and doors. We build cloth awnings and aluminum canopies. Need a new storefront for your business? Call a company that can take care of all of your glass needs, including automotive glass. Located at 121 Inlet Road. Call 687-2471. Emergency after-hours service available.